Hey, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. And giving all praise, glory, and honors unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua by Hashem Kakudash. As always, double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and best to the 144,000, rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the preacher Zion for Gimmicks Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. And just do the work. Just do the work, man. Teach. One thing that I've noticed over the years, and it's true, one thing that I've noticed or paid attention to is we have a lot of men and women that are waking up to the fact that they are Israelites. The ministry is being developed more and more. There are a lot of different camps, a lot of different groups, churches that are being built up. And one thing that I've noticed besides that is, I'll say lately, you have certain Israelites that pay more attention to the controversy. They pay more attention to the scandal, right? They pay more attention to the drama that has come out in Israel in the last few years and even recently. And they use that as a springboard to push their content, their t-shirts, their hats, their fringes, their borders of blue, their t-shirt with fringe. It's and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. I see more and more Israelites becoming content creators, YouTube content creators, and IG content creators, and TikTok, whatever other social media platform there is, Patreon. I see that more than I see. Now, I'm speaking for the brothers, okay? The women, y'all follow the brothers. You follow the men. So that puts you in a bad light, too, because y'all like to follow the ones that's into the drama and the controversy, But for the men, right, the brethren, I see a lot of men that's doing more controversial content creator, like, share, and subscribe videos more than just teaching and doing the work. It's like you find out that you're an Israelite, you get the starter kit, you get the t-shirt with the fringes, you get the Bible with the Apocrypha, and you get a 12 tribe sound, you download it from Google, and and then after watching a few videos of different brothers on the street corners with the megaphones, and they might have the speakers out there, different One West style Israelites, and you go out there on the street corners and you preach, and you take your doctrine from some from IUIC, some from GMS, some from HOI, and we got Next, and you take different pieces from different groups, you know, especially these young men that are coming up, that have popped up in Israel within the last 5-6 years or so. I'm not saying you're not teaching the truth. You're not out there pushing that, of course, the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans are Israelites. But what I do see is more videos on the drama in Israel than going into the scriptures, you know, teaching, you know. And I mean, of course, we go out on the street corners and you know, you can watch a couple of videos and you can get on a megaphone and you can say the white man is, you know, Esau is this and that and the third. But then when it comes to the actual teaching of the Bible, there is a very lackadaisical, lazy approach to teaching the scriptures. You know? Like I said, there's just more content creation being done instead of teaching the Bible. Now, I'm not here to judge no man's servant. I'm just telling you, like I said in the beginning, what I observe, what I notice, what I see. And the reason why I'm saying this, to where it could, you know, the way it's an issue, because the reason why you get caught up in these different scandals and certain things is because you don't know the Bible. You don't know the scriptures. You're not going into lessons that, you know, and I don't mean the basics, you know, breaking down the 12 tribes, you know, like, you know, we're called, when you read the New Testament, when you read about Yahweh, he said that I shall send forth prophets and teachers. The prophecies don't get pushed as much as they should. You know, the reason why the MOTB is a controversial topic is because there's a lack of studying and videos and understanding on the prophecies. You know? And it's if you're going to call yourself a prophet, you have to go into, you got to know and understand the prophecies. You know, teach what you know, of course, but there's a lack of growth with a lot of different Israelite groups, man. There's a lot of groups, and yeah, I'm gonna say a lot because there's more that are not right than there are that's right. There's a lot of groups. The majority of the groups ain't right. You know? And then when, you know, you do see certain men and teachers go into the prophecies, they break them down the incorrect way. And then when men of great millstone correct you, you get emotional. All we're saying is, look, this is the correct breakdown of those scriptures. If you teach it like this, you'll have a better understanding. And it's as how should I say, broad is the way that meaning will follow that, and because it leads to destruction. When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to teaching the scriptures, when it comes to getting a deeper understanding of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, There's not many men that you see going into certain breakdowns. You know, we do more analyzing now. There's more back and forth. There's debates. I'm going to just call it straight. You Israelite groups outside of GMS, you don't know enough to debate a Christian. I mean, you can go into the basics. You can go into, yeah, we Israel, and you can show certain things that has been passed down from the elders of One West. That is a tradition, traditionally broke down. And if it's correct, it's correct. But when it comes to a lot of certain topics, you're seeing IUIC debating Christians, and they both wrong. Genesis debating Christians, they both wrong. And that debate spirit is totally whack, man. We're not set up to do formal debates and get paid and hit the Cash App and the Super Chats. There's a lot of content creating Israelites out there that are doing things for clicks and giggles instead of just teaching. And that's my main point. You know, I've been teaching a long time. Okay? Just about as long as this word has been going out on YouTube. And you have groups that go into, and brothers that go into certain topics, but then they don't. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, going into certain things when they're hot off the press, certain dramas and scandal when things are going to be. I mean, that's just Israel. That's just our people. That's just Jake. We're going to talk about what's going on. But then when you rely on that as your shtick, when you rely on that as your gimmick, when you rely on the flying across the world and we're passing out food and cookouts, and when you do more than just teaching the Bible, it becomes less about the Lord and about the truth, and it becomes more about how you look to the world, how you look amongst the different groups and the camps, just teach, just do the work, and the less videos that you see that these groups go into on topics like prophecy at the forefront, breaking down certain prophecies in the Apocrypha, Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah the 14th chapter, Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, the book of Revelation. We're all in the truth, right? We all understand that we're an Israelite. Like I said before, the doctrine was passed down from the elders of One West down to us younger men that learned this truth through YouTube and the internet. And in these last days, I see more groups that are teaching more content creating, controversial topics, more than going into the scriptures and scriptural topics. Prophecy, exhortation, the fruits of the Spirit. What does the Passover symbolize? What does the kingdom, what is that going to be for our people? Now, I'm not saying everyone and but you understand what I'm saying. The majority, okay? There is a lack of teaching in Israel. There's a lack of breaking the Bible down the correct way, and it's of course a stumbling block. It's a stumbling block to set up those that are not of the elect. But I'm just speaking on it. I'm just speaking on it. You know, I'm not Yahweh Shai. I'm not, you know, sitting here saying this individual's not of the elect or whatever. But what I am saying is do the work. Teach the Bible. When you read the scriptures, you know, you can break down the 12 tribes correctly. You can when you go into the prophecies, you know, you can get an understanding and how to link up certain precepts. You know, you got Bishop Nathaniel, IUIC, using, you know, looking up the word mark in the Bible and taking one scripture to try to... Yep. You know? You good. No, you good, you good. Yeah. You know? Jake. Hey, man. The point is this, man. Teach the Bible. You got Bishop Nathaniel word searching the word mark, and whatever excuse he can come up with to use that precept just so it won't mean what GMS says it is, you know. No, the mark in Revelation 13 and 16 is not spiritual. It's a physical thing. That's why when he went into the Greek, he knows that the Greek word for mark in Revelation 13:16 is charagma. But he won't tell you what it actually is. Because whether he sold out or he can't see it, which we believe he sold out. I'm just using him as an example. You know, but it's a matter of when you study and you read the scriptures, you can get a better understanding of what the Bible is saying. So just teach the word, man. He don't study. He's too busy figuring out how much money he's going to need to go to damn Hawaii and set up a school out there. I'm just using that as an example. Or go somewhere in Australia instead of studying, going through the Bible and bringing out the correct doctrine. GMS is at the top. When you look up the breakdown for Genesis, GMS has done that breakdown. No other major group has done that breakdown. When you go into Revelation, no other Israelite group has gone into the book of Revelation and broke it down. That's just a fact. Because y'all are too busy trying to make money, trying to recruit women, trying to get money out of your members, trying to travel, instead of just teaching the Bible, just teaching the scriptures. Because to be honest for y'all, it's too boring. You're lazy. You don't have any patience to study and get certain things out of the scriptures. You don't go into the Hebrew language, so you don't know what certain words mean. The same thing with the Greek. You refuse to go into the Blue Letter Bible as if that's owned by GMS, and it's not. We just use it as a tool to make sure our doctrine is correct. The scripture says make full, it says study to show thyself approved, make full proof in thy ministry. I'm just, referencing scriptures. I don't have a Bible with me. I'm just walking, the dog. Scripture says to talk about the scriptures while you're walking, while you're in the house, right? So we're going to walk and talk about the scriptures, do a lesson, speak on certain things, But like I said, you see a lot of Israelites that are not teaching the scriptures. And if they do teach the scriptures, it's to push a particular point to make themselves look a certain way. to look good. You know, I'll show you what Edom means in the scriptures. That's basic elementary Israelite 101. What about going to the prophecies and show how Babylon the Great will go down and Yahushua will deliver his elect? Anyway, you know, that's just me just walking and talking and, you know, discussing certain things in the spirit. You know, I hope this lesson was edifying. All praises goes to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakudash. Shalom.